Good evening. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of LAMATA FR. LAMATA is the agency that manages the diversified road network and public transport systems in Lagos. Today, we shall be taking a look at managing scarce resources of the extensive transport sector of the Lagos metropolis from the LAMATA angle. I am Obafemi Craig.
And I am Kate Harmony, welcoming you and our studio audience to today's episode of LAMATA Half Hour. Join us after this break.
What's your uncle? That phone ain't cheap. Say me can Maryland with the go.
Yes, care. But I be out you go take.
That's one cost. Ticket na 17 naira for more daughter.
That number of people are not sharp. With my new Lagos Connect card, now as little as 25 naira go pay. Lagos Connect card that is new payment method from LAMATA for people who sabi better. Be easy to use. Just waka go any BLT or BFS bus stop. Get and load your card with at least 20 naira. Tap your card on the block machine inside the bus where you enter and come out. Or party, BLT or BFS go charge you chicken money when you not go reach normal ticket money.
Wait, make I quickly go top up. Me too, I want sharp like you.
LAMATA, think transport.
The Managing Director of the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, Dr. Dayo Mobriola, has assured Lagosians of the delivery of multimodal public transport system in the state by the year 2030. Dr. Mobriola shared LAMATA and the state government's vision for metropolitan Lagos during a lecture tagged LAMATA, a decade of transforming transport at the Lagos State Governor's Office Correspondent Lagoko Week in Lagos. He spoke on the exciting tale of challenges and successes of the agency in the last 10 years while acknowledging the support of the state government. He noted the introduction of the popular Bus Rapid Transit, BRT, as a first step towards achieving the vision.
And when you are going to pitch the achievement of this BRT, it has exceeded our expectation because we started by wanting to be carrying just 60,000 passengers per day. But on average now, we carry almost 200,000 passengers per day. So that's a huge increment. And then we have actually reduced the waiting time as well. People don't have to stay long at the bus stops anymore.
Aside the BRT scheme, Dr. Mobriola spoke about other numerous projects which are currently ongoing as part of the Transport's Master Plan vision, such as construction of the Blue Line Light Rail project covering 27-kilometer length from Okokomaiko to Marina, which will be delivered by 2014, and the construction and rehabilitation of a number of roads in the state. Mobriola said LAMATA is on the path of changing the face of public transport in the state, as works are still on course in providing an integrated multimodal transport system, which will make the state a world-class city and Africa's first model megacity.
As a result of our plan, the vision that we have come up with is that we want to pitch Lagos as a city that is comparable and as a world-class city to every city in the world. We want to make it a mega city. We want to make it a city that is proud to live in, a city where people would come and enjoy themselves, a city where people can travel at ease, a city where people can travel with the least cost, and that is our vision.
The 13th National Council on Transport meeting has held in Lagos, where several memoranda on transport improvements in states of the Federation were considered and proposals taken. The meeting, which held from the 11th to 15th November 2013, considered the implementation of earlier resolutions by states to improve transport system. Away from the meeting, members of the council visited strategic transport projects by the Lagos State Government. A member of the coordinating committee for the organization of the meeting, Dr. Desmond Amiegbebo, who is also Deputy Director Bus Service LAMATA, underscored the importance of this year's meeting of the National Council on Transport.
Now, the benefit of this council is such that whatever that is happening in these states are shared together. For example, what is being done in Lagos State the BRT experience, the rail experience, and all that is being implemented in the transportation initiatives that are being implemented in Lagos State are shared with others, are shared with various states, and then that gives them the opportunity and the learning point to also see how they can implement the same initiative in various states.
And that's the news. Over to you, Kate.
You're welcome back. I went on the move to show you various areas in and around the city where LAMATA is transforming. Let's say this. All over the world, governments exist primarily to care, protect, and provide for the needs of the people in order to promote their general welfare and well-being. This is why the Lagos state government has entered into a charter with the people of the state in providing a world-class transport system befitting the status of the state as a mega city. In the past 5 years, the state government has shown lots of commitment towards putting in place an enduring transport system with huge budgetary allocations to the transport sector. In March 2008, the government flagged off the first bus rapid transit BRT system in sub-Saharan Africa. The system has to date moved more than 250 million passengers. In August 2009, the government commissioned the Bus Franchise Scheme (BFS) for the Ikotun-Igondo, Iyano-Ipaja, Maryland Transport Corridor. The Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority (LAMATA), tasked with the responsibility of implementing a world-class transport system for Lagos, has already developed a strategic transport master plan, which is being considered by the government. The plan details transport infrastructure requirements for the state up till 2030. One of the major decisions taken by government is the construction of the Blue Rail Line project. Gradually, the rail project has taken shape, and the first phase of the project is expected to be completed by early next year. It is clear that the rail project has really progressed, and Lagosians and indeed the world are waiting on Lagos Rail Project to start operation. The rail project will sure bring lots of relief to Lagosians who daily are faced with traffic congestions, which is characteristic of any growing megacity. As you can see, there is work in progress, and I can almost imagine when this whole project is completed, movement around Lagos becomes a lot easier, transportation becomes affordable, and all you need to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy your trip around Lagos. I can almost tell you, welcome to the future. For On the Move, I am Kate Harmony, and back to you, Craig.
Thanks, Kate. To meet the city's traffic needs, a lot of infrastructure must be put in place, and these have to be budgeted for. Many wonder how LAMATA has been able to achieve a huge success in such a short time in transport and infrastructural development and in a challenging economy. To shed more light on managing scarce resources in the transport sector, we'll be joined by our guest, who has worked in different organizations in various capacities as a professional and a financial expert. Please join us in welcoming Iyola Adigboye, our guest for today. A pleasure to have you on the program.
Yeah, how are you?
Given the technicalities and, of course, the sensitive nature of transport project, how has LAMATA been able to fund its projects?
Well, to start with is the commitment from the government. The Lagos state government is committed to ensure that the standard of infrastructures within the state is up to what you get from all other advanced countries, not only in terms of transportation, but all other infrastructures. Now, talking about funding the infrastructures for transportation, the bulk of our funds is from the Lagos State budgetary annual allocation. 80% of what we spend come from a statutory budgetary allocation. In addition to that, The multilateral institutions also supplement the budgetary allocation from the state government to the tune of about 15%. Within LAMATA itself, we generate about 5% of what we spend on capital projects. We generate our funding from consultancy services, from recovery from the services we provide in terms of infrastructure for transportation. And of course, some of our projects are funded through public-private participation, which we normally refer to as a PPP.
Can you give us insights on how they are able to finance capital projects such as transport projects?
The starting point in financing any infrastructures, be it a transport project or any other project, is the statutory budget allocation. For instance, in Britain, they normally finance their transportation through statutory budgetary allocation. However, the members of the community usually supplement the efforts of the government. We expect similar thing to happen here, and it has started happening.
So it's something we can...
Yeah, it has started happening.
It's something we should all emulate.
Yeah, if you look at this road in Victoria Land, Ajose Adiogun, a bank spent about 350 million to construct that road. Wow. And if you look at the ambience of that environment now, it's a first-class place that attracted
quite impressive
customers to that bank.
Financial capacity of Lagos State is something to really celebrate, given all the fact that
honestly,
people are part of it. Now, if we look at that and the huge plans for the future, now, do you think funding will be a problem or will be a challenge in executing every other transport project that LAMATA is set to achieve?
If anybody is telling you that funding will not be a challenge, the person is telling lies. There is nowhere in the world where funding won't be a challenge. Okay. For instance, in the next 10 years, to develop infrastructure within Lagos State, we require about $5 billion annually. If you look at the capital budget of the state in the last 5 years, it averaged about approximately $2 billion. So there's a gap. That gap will continue to exist. And you see, that is why if the rate at which people are now committed to paying taxes increases, that will increase what the government will be able to achieve in terms of infrastructural development.
How lucrative is the transport subsector for private investors? Let's say I run a private business and I need to invest. How lucrative is this sector?
Well, if it is properly set up and well run, it's highly lucrative. If you look at the population of Nigeria, it's been growing about 3%, sometimes 3.5%. But we now look at the population growth rate of Lagos State, it's at 6% now. So automatically there will be a lot of people to be commuted from one place to another. And as long as the demand is there, it will be lucrative, but it has to be done properly.
It's been Iola Adegboye right here in the studio with us, discussing and sharing with us on how to manage scarce resources in the transport sector. Many more to come after this timeout.
Basically, what LAMATA does is to coordinate public transportation in Lagos State, and we came up with a transport master plan.
Developed together with the World Bank, the objective of this plan is finding long-lasting solutions for the problem of transportation in Lagos. Currently under its first steps of development, the plan has already proven itself a big success, dramatically increasing the connectivity in a city in continuous expansion and enjoying an unparalleled demographic and economic growth.
Our responsibility is to ensure that we provide the necessary infrastructure to meet the growth, to improve the quality of life, to improve the standard of living, and to make Lagos a vibrant and livable city in years to come.
LAMATA, think transport.
Thanks for staying tuned. We still have with us the Director of Finance, LAMATA. And at this point, we'll be taking questions from our studio audience, and Craig would have to leave me to coordinate that.
Well, okay, it's just what I must do, and
I
must really do. But at this point, like she rightly said, we need to field questions from our studio audience, but of course, for us to take reactions, comments, feedback as it is. One of the policies of LAMATA is to provide efficient public transport system in Lagos, to also provide a platform for economic interactions and, of course, that which will meet global standard. And that is why we must have them together so that we can always get their feedback. It's a pleasure to be with you, our studio audience, on this episode of the program. You're most welcome. So it's now time to take our studio questions. Questions? Right.
Some time ago, I had an appointment somewhere. So happy that I would get to the BRT bus stop and then board my BRT bus. On getting there, 4 buses came. They were not carrying the machine. I was late for the assignment that I was about to go. Could there be something that would be done for that machines to be installed on the new buses immediately?
Well, you see, the e-card was introduced about a few months ago. And for every new project, there is always the teething problems. As at that time, we had some challenges which have been perfected now. In other words, we experienced the teething problem as at that time. And as I'm talking now, all the buses now have the machine. And anywhere you want to go now with your card, they will be able to accept it.
In some areas, in some local governments, I may want to be a franchise to LAMATA.
Okay.
Will I come to LAMATA office? I said, okay, I'm taking a franchise from, like, say, from Yaba to Ijesha. I'm putting my franchise there. How will I come over that because of the road?
Okay. What I will suggest you do, if you intend to acquire franchise for a particular route, I will suggest you write to LAMATA. I'm not, it's difficult for me to tell you all that it entails, but if you write to LAMATA stating the route you intend to be using your buses, we will look at it and we'll let you know what you need to do. And of course, we'll look at the viability of that route. And the starting point just for you to write to us, let us know the route you are talking about, and we appraise it and we'll get back to you.
My own challenge is I love riding in BRT buses.
Thank you, ma'am.
But some of the buses are not well managed. You enter some, the chairs are off. Had it been it's like that, you won't buy it from where you bought them. So I want you people to look into it. Some of them are so dirty, especially the handles.
Okay.
And I've been looking for opportunity to talk concerning this because I feel bad when I see things get spoiled. And the Lagos State has done so much for acquiring those buses.
Okay.
I don't know who are the maintenance officers.
Okay.
Some of the chairs that are cut should be put back and then make the thing nice so that people will enjoy riding on the BRT.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Well, the buses, they are being refurbished from time to time. What you said, we've noted it as well. Like I said the other time, the LAMATA will provide the infrastructures while the running of the buses, that is the operation of the buses, is being run by LURTW. But at the same time, what you said is quite right. We are working hand in hand with them to ensure that all the buses are properly refurbished. And as I talk now, I think about a few weeks ago, they've reflected about 50 number of those buses. And they are still planning to buy more buses in addition to the one they have. But the most important thing is that from time to time, we ensure that they maintain those buses.
You talk about the investors coming to the country, and the kind of money you mentioned now, so huge. Can someone like me come into such business? Where will I get that kind of money? And I'm interested in it, like selling the tickets or the card. And I want to say this, sir. Last time I was here, the man talked about bringing in the new buses. I have seen it. Very, very neat. Thank you.
Thanks indeed for that question. There are a lot of activities involved when you are running BRT, and there will be a lot for people to do, depending on how much you want to invest, the area you want to invest in. For instance, the existing BRT, people come at various levels, depending on their pockets.
What are the challenges LAMATA has encountered so far with the PPP projects carried out, and how has LAMATA been able to scale through these challenges?
The concept of public-private participation is not new in Nigeria. And you see, since LAMATA started, we'll be able to use that a lot. Like I said a few minutes ago, that we provided the infrastructure for our BRT, the existing BRT, while the NURTW runs the operations. There are bound to be challenges. One, when you are doing that, you have to set standards, and you should ensure that people adhere to that standard from time to time. You also have the issue of what they'll be charging the public so that they are not overcharged. You have to regulate that. And of course, you have to, from time to time, ensure that those buses and the infrastructure being used are well maintained, like it has been pointed out today. So those are a few challenges we've encountered.
We must here say a big thank you to our studio audience and our viewers at home for being part of today's episode of the program, LAMATA FR. Kate is still there for me.
Yeah.
Kate, over to you.
Thank you, Craig. So, your parting words, sir?
Well, my advice is that please look at the government assets as your assets and ensure you take care of them. And where you see people vandalizing them, please try to let us know so that those assets will last long for all of us. Thank you.
And thank you for taking out this time to be with us on the show and for doing justice to all the questions. We really appreciate.
You are much welcome. Thank you.
Still LAMATA half hour. Don't go anywhere.
We want to say a big thank you to our studio audience and, of course, our viewers for being part of this week's episode of LAMATA FR.
If you'd love to be a part of our studio audience, you have comments or questions, send your details to 0703 004 0003. And you can also visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/LAMATANG. And don't forget to click on the like button. Every member of the studio audience goes home with a loaded Lagos Connect card. Till next week, LAMATA.
Think Transport. Eko Akete, Lagos, my home. With LAMATA, Lagos is changing for the best. BRT lanes, modern rail lines, pedestrian bridges,